Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, providing more than 41,000 jobs in the production of wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details at choosewood.com.
We hope you enjoy listening to this podcast of St. Louis on the Air, brought to you by University College at Washington University, with undergraduate and graduate programs part-time, evening, and online. University College at Washington University, offering world-class education within reach.
Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Don Marsh. Today we go behind the headlines. Joining me in studio is news intern Abigail Censky. Abigail, welcome. Nice to have you.
Thank you so much.
Overall, Abigail, how did women do nationally in Tuesday's election?
Nationally, women did very well, and they were part of the large margin of victors who helped Democrats retake the House. CNN is projecting there are some races that are still being counted, but over 100 women will be elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, and 35 of those women are newly elected candidates, and 65 are incumbents.
And a diverse group, much more diverse than has been the case.
Yeah, so there's first for several groups of women. Sharice Davids and Deb Haaland are the first Native women who will be elected to the U.S. Congress. Sharice Davids is from Kansas and Deb Haaland is from New Mexico. Also the first Muslim women, Rashida Tlaib out of a congressional district in Michigan and Ilhan Omar from Minnesota. And also the youngest women ever elected to the House of Representatives with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in New York.
So a good day for women across the nation and certainly in congressional races. Did women flex their muscles here in Missouri?
So in one way, yes. There were a record number of women running, which is important for women to get elected in the first place. It's usually a much smaller pool of women candidates. In this way, yes, they did flex their muscles. However, of the 103 women who were running in Missouri, 95 were running for state house and 46 of them won. So it doesn't increase the percentage that much for the women who will be serving in Missouri's General Assembly.
And did Democrats and Republicans do pretty much what would have been expected given the overall result Tuesday?
So there were a disproportionate number of Democratic women candidates. 66 of those women running for state house were Democrats here in Missouri, and 22 of them won on Tuesday night, and the other 29 of those women were Republicans, and 24 Republicans won. So fewer Republicans running in Missouri, but more of those women who were Republicans running won.
Okay, well, one of those who lost was Patrice Billings. You talked to her.
Yeah, Patrice Billings is a candidate for a St. Charles County State Senate district, and she ended up losing her race to a longtime incumbent, Bob Onder. And she spoke to me after the election, and she said she wasn't disheartened by things.
And here she is.
I don't believe that we are going to be putting the genie back in the bottle anytime soon. I think people will maintain the momentum, especially women, and realize that the only way for us to get elected is to run.
That was Patrice Billings, who is no longer a member of the Missouri State Legislature. She basically says that you can't win if you don't run.
Yeah, and that was the thing when I was following this race of this historic number of women running in Missouri. The largest barrier to achieving gender parity in state houses is the number of candidates running. Women don't run in the same numbers of men. So that was really the way, as you were saying, that women were flexing their muscles here in Missouri. More women running means more women will likely get elected in the future. And that was Patrice's main point, is as long as you have a bigger number of women candidates running for election, eventually you do hope to see an increase in gender parity in state houses.
Tell me about Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
Yeah, so Mary Elizabeth Coleman was a candidate for state representative in a majority Jefferson County House district. And she actually flipped that seat back to Republican control. And she said that she doesn't think losses in Missouri will discourage Missouri women from running. She hopes, in fact, that it will incentivize girls from seeing things differently here in Missouri.
Here she is.
We were in the car, and one of the commercials for my campaign came on the radio, and my daughter said to all of my sons in the car, "That's our mom." So I think that maybe we're planting those seeds.
Planting those seeds, yes, the future generations, more and more women. Is there a common thread, Abigail, in terms of issues, Republican and Democratic women in Missouri?
Democrats definitely focused. I wouldn't say it really was separated by gender. It was more separated by issues of party. So Democrats focused heavily on healthcare and education, and Republicans in Missouri focused a lot on jobs and the economy, as well as education. But that tends to separate out more by district as well.
What's encouraging women to run these days?
I think seeing larger numbers of women running, and of course, as more women are elected, 121 women will serve in the 116th Congress at the U.S. level. So seeing those role models at the national level is expected to kind of trickle down to women running at the state level as well.
We also can hear from Terry Jones, our friend from the University of Missouri St. Louis, political scientist there. Let's hear what he has to say with regard to women running in the future.
The kinds of stories coming out of the November 6th elections of women who ran for the first time and won are going to inspire women rather than deter them, no matter if there was not a similar set of stories in their own state. So I think this is very much a national phenomenon where there are now going to be multiple role models and who encourage individuals and women to seek office much more than they have in the past.
Terry Jones of the University of Missouri St. Louis. Well, what's ahead for Missouri, do you think, with regard to the female political world?
Well, it's interesting. Both Patrice, who lost her election, Mary Elizabeth, who won, and Terry Jones, who has observed the Missouri legislature for a long time, all of three of them resoundingly seemed to have hope for women candidates running in Missouri in the future, despite that there weren't record numbers of winners. So if that's any indication, I would say that more women will run in Missouri in the future, but women were also catalyzed by, many Democratic women were catalyzed to run for office by the president this year. So it depends if there's that kind of catalyst or an event that motivates women to run for office in the future. But I do think you are going to see an effect carrying over of more women running for office because they see more women elected in legislatures and Congress.
Final question, what do women bring to the table that men don't?
That's hotly debated. There's no proven studies that say women will make legislatures more partisan or not, but I think they certainly bring a fresh perspective to the legislature simply because they haven't been represented in equal numbers as men. So they definitely bring new energy to both state houses, like here in Missouri, and the U.S. Congress.
All right. Well, very interesting to hear what's happening in the political world with regard to women. But we should point out that you're going to have to continue this line of work someplace else. Today is your last day as an intern here.
It is. I will be headed to WKRAR in Lansing, Michigan.
Very, very exciting. Well, you've done great work for us here, Abigail. Thank you so much for being with us on the program today and for being with us during these last months. You came to us 2 days after graduating from college. You need a little bit of a break.
That's true.
Abigail Censky, thank you so very much. Best of luck as you move on to a new world and a new life in Lansing, Michigan.
Thank you so much,
Great
Don.
to see you. This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio, 90.7 KWMU.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association. Missouri produces wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details on the variety of products made in the state are at choosewood.com.